Shirahama Day 2. And today we're finally getting the version of this town that the postcards promise. Shirarahama, notice the extra "ra" is the beach itself, and it is officially a sister beach to Waikiki in Hawaii. That's not marketing fluff. That's a real official designation. The white sand, the turquoise water, the gentle curve of the bay. Once you see it, the comparison makes complete sense. And what a difference a day makes. Yesterday was gray skies and rain. Today the sun is out, the sky is clear, and we are on the move. We jumped on the local bus from the station to get to our hotel, and look at this. Even the bus is in on the panda theme. Adventure World, Shirahama's famous panda zoo, is basically the town's biggest draw card, and the pandas are everywhere, on buses, on signs, on merchandise. Shirahama absolutely runs on panda energy. But first, the ride in. From the bus window, the Pacific opens up and the color of the water just hits you. That impossibly clear turquoise, flat and calm under a blue sky. It looks like somewhere in Southeast Asia, not an hour and a half from Osaka. This is the Kuroshio Current, the warm ocean current that runs up this coastline, and it's responsible for both the watercolor and the incredible seafood we had yesterday. And then this appears out of nowhere, Engetsu-to Moon Island, a naturally formed rock island just offshore with a perfect arch cut through the middle. The name literally means circular moon. On a clear evening, you can apparently watch the sunset frame perfectly through that arch. It's one of those landmarks that stops you mid-sentence. You'll catch a better look later, but even from the bus window, it's something else. We're staying at the Marriott here in Shirahama, and this room is doing a lot of things right. Traditional tatami flooring, low table, cushion seats, and then that window. The Pacific right there, turquoise and shimmering. You wake up to this. You have your morning coffee to this. It reframes the whole trip. And from up here, you get the full picture of Shirahama. The town curves around the coastline, resort hotels, small guest houses, the old harbor to one side, and the long sweep of Shirarahama Beach in the distance. It's a compact town, everything walkable, everything pointing toward the ocean. Now let's get down there. We headed out on foot along the main coastal road toward the beach. The streets here are lined with minshuku, small family guest houses, restaurants, and the occasional brewery sign. You can see a Gisa beer advertised, a local craft beer brewed right here in Shirahama. We'll keep that in mind for later. Keep that in mind. At this intersection, the road splits, left toward Sandanbeki Cliffs and Engetsu-to, right toward Shirarahama Beach. That minshuku called Kotobuki in the background has probably been run by the same family for decades. This is the older, quieter face of Shirahama's tourism. Long before the big resort hotels, it was places like this filling up every summer. Isono Suisun, a classic seafood lunch spot right on the main street, absolutely loaded with red lanterns. The menu covers everything: kaisenden rice bowls, hameyaki grilled seafood, tuna, the works. It was tempting, but we had other plans. Worth noting for anyone visiting, though, this is exactly the kind of place you duck into for a quick, fresh, reasonably priced seafood lunch with zero fuss. Walking further in, the big resort hotels start appearing, stacked up on the hillside, every room angled toward the ocean. Some of these have been here since the 1970s, when Shirahama was one of Japan's premier domestic holiday destinations. The buildings show their age in places, but there's something nostalgic about that. This isn't a new, manufactured resort. This is a town that's been welcoming visitors for generations. And there it is. The first proper look at Shirarahama Beach and that lone Japanese black pine standing at the edge of the promenade like it's been posing for photos for 100 years. The sand is brilliant white, almost powdery. The water is that deep Caribbean blue-green. And it's still early in the season, so it's quiet. A few people sitting, a few walking. None of the summer crowds yet. This is Shirahama at its most peaceful. From here, the full scale of the beach opens up. About 620 meters of white sand, curving around to a forested headland on the far end. Hotels lining the back. The Pacific in front. On a clear day like this, the contrast between the white sand and that turquoise water is almost unreal. Shirahama literally means white beach, and it absolutely earns the name. Along the back of the beach, a row of beach shacks and small shops with this distinctive, wavy wooden roof structure, a fun architectural quirk that gives the whole stretch a relaxed, summery character. Takeaway food, cold drinks, beach gear. These places will be packed solid come July and August when Japanese domestic tourism peaks. Right now it's calm and unhurried. We spent a good while just walking the length of the promenade, the stone path running alongside the sand, palm trees, beach sculptures, the sound of waves, the smell of salt. This is the kind of walk you don't need a reason for. Just one end to the other, take it all in, let your mind go quiet, highly recommended. So we just start walking. That's really all there is to it. The promenade runs the full length of the beach, and every few steps gives you a different angle. The pine trees framing the sand, kids playing at the water's edge, couples just sitting in the sun doing nothing in particular. It's a weekday, it's still spring, and yet there's a decent number of people here. Come back in August, and this beach is absolutely packed wall to wall. Right now, though, there's room to breathe, room to move, and honestly, room to actually appreciate what you're looking at. The wind had picked up by this point. You can see the palm tree absolutely going for it. That's the Pacific wind coming in off the open ocean, and it gives the whole walk a bit of energy. The promenade curves here, and from this angle, you get the full sweep of the beach behind you. It's one of those moments where you stop, turn around, and just think, yeah, this is a seriously beautiful place. You'll notice the signposts along the promenade pointing in different directions. The public hot spring bath is just up that way, and Kumano Shrine is a short walk further along the headland. Shirahama layers things like this. You can go from a beach walk straight into a 1,000-year-old shrine, then into an onsen, then back to the beach. Everything is within 10 minutes of everything else. And look, even on the promenade, someone stops to photograph the view. You can't help it. Every angle earns it. And then this appears, Salt and Tide, a sleek little beachside cafe styled like something out of Santorini. White walls, blue trim, big open windows facing the sand. A bit unexpected in the middle of a traditional Japanese resort town, but somehow it works. The kind of place you'd come back to in the afternoon for a coffee and just sit and watch the ocean. We kept walking, ramen was calling, but we noted it for next time. Walking further along, the beach starts to narrow as it reaches the headland on the far end. The old Minshuku guest houses sit right up against the promenade here, windows facing directly onto the sand. Imagine waking up in one of those rooms. Some of these places have been family-run for 3 or 4 generations, and you can tell from the worn-in character of the buildings. Not boutique, not Instagrammable, just honest, comfortable, and perfectly placed. After all that walking, lunch called, and we spotted Ramen Bakumatsu, right on the beachfront strip. Wakayama ramen is its own regional style, typically a soy-based or tonkotsu soy broth, and this place does a proper version of it. There was already a small queue forming outside, which is always a good sign. And here's the result. A rich, cloudy tonkotsu broth in the front, chashu pork, soft boiled eggs with that perfect jammy yolk, green onion, all the classics. And at the back, a spicy red bowl for contrast. After a morning of sea air and beach walking, this hit exactly as hard as you'd want it to. Wakayama ramen doesn't get nearly the attention it deserves compared to Tokyo or Sapporo styles, but it stands up easily. On the walk back, we pass this, a small Shinto shrine tucked behind the trees, torii gate framed by sunlight filtering through the canopy. No crowds, no signage, just this quiet little sacred space sitting alongside the beach hotels and ramen shops. That's very Shirahama. Ancient and modern, side by side, not competing, just coexisting. We didn't go in, just paused for a moment. Sometimes that's enough. We've reached the far end of the beach now, where the sand gives way to rocks and these concrete tetrapods, the wave breakers you see all along Japan's coastline. And there it is again, Engetsu-to, the Moon Island, sitting perfectly in the frame. From this angle, you can clearly see that natural arch cut right through the rock. The fishing harbor is just behind it, boats bobbing quietly. This is the edge of the beach, literally the end of the line. And somehow it's just as beautiful as the middle of it. Back at the hotel for a mid-afternoon debrief. Suntory Nama beer poured into a glass, with the Pacific Ocean out the window. This is what we in the industry call a good afternoon. The light had softened, there were clouds rolling in from the south, and the ocean had that late afternoon shimmer. Sometimes the most memorable travel moments are the quiet ones, just sitting still and letting a place wash over you. We made it back down to the beach just in time. The sun was dropping behind the headland, painting the sky in soft pinks and oranges. A handful of people on the sand, some walking, some just sitting at the water's edge watching. Shirarahama at sunset is genuinely special. The silhouette of the island in the distance, the fading light on the water, day 2 closing out beautifully. And we ended the night the only way that made sense, back at Moonlight, the Moonlight snack bar on Ginza Street. Yamazaki whiskey on the counter, a small dish of little dried fish as otoshi, and these absolutely unhinged stuffed toy decorations watching over the whole bar. The mama-san runs the place with warmth and humor, and somehow it all just works. This is the Japan that doesn't make it into the guidebooks. Small, personal, a little chaotic, completely unforgettable. That's Shirahama Day 2. 2 days, 1 town, and more to talk about than we expected. If you're planning a trip to the Kansai region, and you've done Kyoto and Osaka, come here. You won't regret it. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Subscribe for more Beyond Tokyo Tales, and we'll see you in the next one.